When we think about Kardashians, Jenners, and plastic surgery, we may think about Kim, we may think about Khloe, or Kendall, or Kylie, but I think today is the time for us to focus on Caitlyn. I made videos about what plastic surgery Kendall Jenner had done and what plastic surgery her sister Kylie has had done. But what about Caitlyn? On this video, we're going to cover all the different plastic surgery that I think Caitlyn has had done, all the way back from the 90s and through today. Now, I need to start by saying that I am not Caitlyn's surgeon. This is just all my opinion based off of photographs and videos that I've seen of her. Well, let's start way back when Caitlyn was known as Bruce and was the age of 28 and was the cover of an iconic Wheaties box. And as you can see, at the age of 28, I really don't think that Caitlyn had had any work done at that time. She looks pretty darn natural. Well, let's now fast forward to 1990, when Caitlyn was 41 years old. Now, it was reported back by ABC News in 1984 that she had had a nose job, a rhinoplasty, and a facelift. And if you look really closely, she does have a nice sharp jawline, which could be a sign of a facelift, although at the age of 41, this is a pretty normal neckline. And if you look at her nose, the nose may have been thinned a little bit. But keep watching the nose because I think we're going to see some changes coming up pretty quickly. And another change that I'm seeing in this photo is that her brows may have been thinned a little bit as well. So now we've entered the new millennium. It's 2005. She's 56 years old, and you can see that there's quite a bit of sun damage that she has gotten over the years. And if you look real closely, I do think that she underwent a second nose job between then and the photo that you're seeing right here. The nose looks thinner, it looks a little bit shorter. To me, that's a sign that she probably had a rhinoplasty. Another operation that I do believe she may have had done around this time was an upper eyelid lift, otherwise known as an upper blepharoplasty. And this is a surgery that removes the excess skin of the upper eyelids. You can see the eyelids look a little bit more open, and this may have been the first one of possibly two. Now we're going forward another 5 years. It is 2010 and she is now 61 years old. Now ABC News did report that in 2009 she underwent another facelift. And by looking at these photos, I do believe it. The jawline looks nice and sharp, especially for somebody who's 61 years old. There's no sign of any jowls, and overall I think it is a very well done facelift. Now also, if you look closely, take a look at her lips. In this photo, I do think that she has had her lips plumped up. Now this is a procedure that is done in both men and women, mostly in women, but I do think that Caitlyn was having lip injections done at this time. Now that same year, this photo was taken as well, and you can see that her skin looks really, really nice. It's much more youthful looking than the skin of most 61-year-olds. I also believe at this time that she had had injections of filler in her cheeks. Filler maybe like Juvederm Voluma, maybe like Restylane Lift, because the cheeks do look a bit lifted and a little bit fuller. Overall, I think she's looking great still, fairly natural looking, so let's go forward ahead in time once more. Now here she is in 2012, a couple years later, at the age of 63. And if you look closely, I really think it's pretty obvious that we're seeing some cheek filler now. Also, if you compare her nose now to where it was decades ago, that nose has definitely gotten thinner and it's definitely gotten shorter. Now here is Caitlyn at the age of 67 and she has transitioned. There are reports that she underwent a 10-hour facial feminization surgery. This is a long time to be under anesthesia, and the surgeries that I do, whether it's face or body, typically I limit it to about 5 to 6 hours for safety. Now, if you look at her face, you can definitely see some changes from what we had seen in her previous photographs. I do believe she has undergone an endoscopic or an open brow lift. Her eyebrows do look a bit lifted and more arched. That I think is surgical. I think she's also undergone an upper and lower blepharoplasty. There's almost no extra skin of her upper eyelids. There's no puffiness of the lower eyelids. This is very uncommon in somebody who's 67 years old. She also may have undergone a canthopexy, and this is otherwise known as a fox eye surgery. And this is where the corners of the eyelids are actually tilted up. And this is a surgery that is quite popular out in Hollywood, and I do think that Caitlyn may have had that done as well. It also appears to me that she may have undergone a rhinoplasty or another nose job. Now, to my count, this might be 3 nose jobs possibly so far. The nose does once again look thinner, like it has changed in the past, and it looks a bit more refined, a bit more elegant. And take a peek at her jawline. There is jawline contouring that may have been performed as well. Her jawline definitely looks a little more contoured, it looks a little more narrow, a little bit thinner. This could be done by injections of Botox into the masseter muscles, which are the muscles on the sides of the jawline, but it can also be done surgically where the bone is actually shaved down to reshape it. ABC News also reported that she may have undergone a laryngeal shave, and this is where you basically shave down the Adam's apple to reduce its prominence. Now also take a close look at her skin. Her skin is pristine. You don't see hardly any wrinkles there. So I think that she's undergone injections of Botox that will smooth the wrinkles of the forehead, the crow's feet, but she may have also undergone injections of filler to help plump the cheeks a little bit as well. And I also believe that she's undergone some resurfacing treatments. Whether with lasers, chemical peels, or radiofrequency, these are treatments that can help tighten up the skin, reduce fine lines and wrinkles, and give the skin the appearance that you're seeing here. This is not like a 67-year-old that you see usually walking in my office. So overall, I think those reportedly 10 hours of facial feminization surgery has worked really well. I think she looks fantastic, and I'm really happy for her that the surgery worked as well as it did for her. Well, with transitioning, it's not just facial surgeries that are often performed. Quite often, body surgeries are performed as well. So let's take a peek now at Caitlin in a full body shot. And you can see that I do believe she underwent a breast augmentation. She may have also undergone some liposuction to enhance the curves as well. So patients always ask me whenever I perform facelifts, how long do the results last? And really the results depend on the quality of the skin. And the older that you are, usually the less long that the surgery will last. So let's now fast forward just 1 year and let's take a peek at Caitlin at the age of 68. And you can see that the jawline itself, the neckline, has relaxed a little bit. There's a little bit loose skin there, but she still looks fantastic. Looking at these photos, I don't believe that she's had any big surgery between the two pictures, but I do think that she's undergoing kind of those maintenance things. Botox, injections of filler, maybe some chemical peels or IPL treatments, which I've always considered to be one of the biggest bangs for your buck when you're talking about anti-aging treatments. Her skin looks really smooth, you don't see any age spots there, and we also got to figure that makeup is playing a part in this as well. And now here she is 1 year later at the age of 69, and you can see now in her neckline that some of that skin is starting to settle a bit. Once again, not uncommon in somebody who's had a facelift in their late 60s, especially if she had a lot of sun damage in the past. I do believe she is keeping up with her facial fillers. Take a peek at her cheeks and you can see the cheeks look filled, they look a bit lifted, but overall I think she looks very, very nice and as natural as can be with as much plastic surgery as I think that she has had done. When we look at a body shot of hers now, take a peek at her calves. One interesting treatment that is now being done to thin the calves is injections of Botox. If you inject enough Botox into the calf muscles, those calf muscles can actually atrophy. They can get smaller, giving somebody thinner legs. And I do think that may be what we're seeing with Caitlin's legs here. So to my count, I think that Caitlin has had over the decades probably 14 or more plastic surgeries. This doesn't count non-surgical treatments that I believe she's probably had dozens of them done, like Botox, like filler, like laser treatments. So if I had to estimate just how much money Caitlin has spent in plastic surgery and cosmetic procedures over the decades, I would probably guess at least $200,000 to $250,000 as an estimate. And that is a heck of a lot more than I think his daughter, Kylie, has had done. Take a peek at this video if you're wondering what I think Kylie Jenner has had done in plastic surgery. And if you've been enjoying these videos, please subscribe to my channel. And always remember, eat real food, use clean skincare, and only consider actual plastic surgery as a last resort.